Fire Radio.
It's frustrating.
It is incredibly frustrating. So let me walk you through it, right? So we're just hitting record and going because we've been chatting already, and it's always the good stuff that we miss. I'm taking Shimek on a tour of the new studio. I'll probably overlay some video over this or whatever, but here's the thing, right? At the end of the day, brand new. I've been in this place since March, but the actual podcast studio is a separate room in the space that has windows looking in from the main office and the other production area. But I never knew what I wanted to really do with this space. I finally figured out that I wanted to set it up a certain way so I could do a lot more in-person recordings, and I wanted to, kind of really dress it up, right? Well, the wall behind me, I did last night. That was the last addition to it for the most part. I still have like decorating to do. But the wall is a throwback to my original podcast days. This has been with me for years since we started. I had a t-shirt wall up, and so that's what that is. I have, no joke, if you think the average firefighter has a ton of fire department t-shirts, I can promise you that I probably have one of the largest collections in the American Fire Service.
Well, everybody wants to hand you one, probably, right?
Bro, I have more shirts. I have those big, massive Tupperware things, right? Like those massive, massive ones that are like coffins with wheels on them. I think there's 10 of them in the attic.
Good Lord.
10. And there's probably, 10, 20. There's probably 300 shirts in each one. It's wild. It's wild.
What are you going to do with them?
These shirts behind me, right? So these are some of the original. A lot of these have meaning, and a couple of Dana Hannon ones. Dana was a friend of mine, lost on September 11th, New York City fireman. Ladder 34 in the city is where he did his Proby days. One of my best friends in the world was a fireman there before he went to rescue, so that is a very special shirt for me. Tim Gunther passed away in line of duty, Poughkeepsie, New York, and I was a fireman in Poughkeepsie, so that resonated with me. Hurricane Sandy out in Rockaway Point. I did a 24-hour tour out there after Hurricane Sandy when they lost hundreds of homes in a fire that swept through with neck-deep water. I mean, the storytelling out of there during Hurricane Sandy. And then some of these other shirts, my old department in Poughkeepsie, Fairview. I think there's another Fairview up there, 100 years. My original NFR, that green one up in the corner. That Army green one is the first ever National Fire Radio t-shirt made.
I've had people ask me about t-shirts. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
People want t-shirts.
Well, you have to have a t. You're not anybody until you have a t-shirt. You have to have a t-shirt. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
But my point is, and then the rest of these shirts are from like the first couple months of National Fire Radio. People sent me t-shirts like this Hilltop Engine Company, right? Like amazing. The SFD, I don't know if that's Somerville. It's one of those departments. Let's Roll, right? That's these are shirts that like were given to me when we first started. And so it's memories of 7 years ago with National Fire Radio. And
now it's out of control and you have, 4,000 in your attic?
Yeah, it's wild. It is wild. I could clothe a small village, no problem.
Well, it's either that or patches, right? People want patches.
I have patch walls out in the main office where it's just hundreds and hundreds of patches. I have stuff that is littered with stickers. The one thing I haven't done a good job of is like showing off the podcast offices and studios since we moved here. I just haven't, because it's always been, I don't have enough time to get it situated. So it's always under construction and things are always moving. And I have to have days upon days of getting it in order. I just don't. So it's content and meetings and recording over putting together the infrastructure.
Well, and I've said it a million times. You're one of the busiest guys I know.
I don't know. I just
100%.
I don't know.
You're so busy.
I don't know it any other way. Like, I know I take it a lot upon myself, but I don't know I wouldn't know how to go home right now and put my feet up and not do something, right? Like, I can't do that.
You have I can take a nap right now on air and wake up in 10 minutes and just carry on the conversation like it never happened. I think I'm going to be the yin to your yang.
You already are, sir.
I think I'm going to be the guy. I'm going to take you skiing. I promise. We talk about it all the time. I'm going to take you skiing, and we're going to leave our phones in the car, and we're just going to go. And it's just, you know, I think sometimes people come into your life and you're like, you need a little something, and you're so damn busy. God, it makes me itchy to know how busy you are. And yet I look at myself like I screw around so much.
But listen, like, that's you being busy, though. Like,
Okay.
busy's relative, right? Like, what do you consider busy? I just always have things going on, right? I'm jumping from one thing to the next thing to the next thing. I wish I had 3 hours to fuck around with a chainsaw on my property. I wish.
Yeah.
And sometimes I find that time to do it, right? But I find with everything that I'm involved with, I have to prioritize what needs my attention.
I guess I've done a really good job avoiding most responsibility in life, and I just have very little. Besides my wife and my dog right here, I have very few people counting on me right now. It's amazing. And so there's days I'll come home from shift and be like, all right, I got 4 days. And I'll look at the calendar and, okay, we got hockey on that night. And then the wife's like, what are you going to do? I'm like, couldn't tell you.
Have you always been this way?
I think so. Yeah, I have. Always been kind of aloof and just kind of go with the flow. And I just don't see any reason to change now. You know, I'm turning 49 next week, and it's like, screw it. Because it's just a good time, and I enjoy, like, the wife will come home from work. What'd you do today? Well, I got on my bicycle, and I rode 35 miles that way. And then she's like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, I don't know. I didn't know what else to do, so I just got on a bike and went that way, 35 miles. Then she goes, well, what did you do when you got there? I said, I turned around. So she goes, let me get this straight. You rode 70 miles just because. I'm like, yeah. Went 35 that way, and you got to come back.
Let me ask you a question. I love all of this. This is why I love talking to you, because I'm fascinated. How do you determine when it's time to stop and turn around?
Well, there's multiple things that'll tell you when in life you should turn around. One of them is the weather. When you're on a bicycle or a motorcycle or anything besides a car, you know, it gets dark, it gets cold, raining. Here comes a tornado. I don't know, you know.
But you got to plan for that.
No, the whole point is not having a plan.
You can't outrun a storm on a bike.
No, but if you catch, okay, let's talk about it. Let's say you get on your bicycle and you just start riding that way, and you meet a storm. Well, now that storm has forced you to take shelter somewhere. Now you're camping in the woods, or you're hanging out at a car wash, or you might meet some people at a flea market because you just look for something to go inside and like, oh, what's going on over here? Oh, it's a Saturday, it's a flea market. And then you meet a guy like you, and the next thing you know, you're having a cup of coffee, shooting the shit with a guy you've never, you know, you just crossed paths. And then when the rain passes, you get on your bike and you ride back.
I get that. I totally get it. So what I'm getting at is you are not worried about the weather forecast before you leave, because if the weather forces you to find shelter, it just adds to the story and the experience. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah. If you overplan everything, my wife is, I hope she left already. My wife's a planner. I'm not. So I'm her yang. She's my yang. And she has to know what she's eating when we get there in 3 days, where are we going to eat, where are we going to put our stuff. Where I have probably not packed right, so I'm already going to show up unprepared. I have no idea where we're going half the time and what we're doing, and you just go with the flow. Because when your expectations are way low, then you're always having a good time, in my opinion.
Why do your expectations have to be low?
Because then you just go with the flow and enjoy life.
Yeah, but you can go with the flow and still have high expectations, right? It's what you make of this situation, right? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is what I am, a balance of all of this. There's certain things in my life that have to be dialed in and detailed. And then there's other things that I'm like, fuck it, let's go. Like, there's this interesting balance in my world. And I look at you and you're all one, and I straddle the fence.
You're running a successful business though, and I'm not. So
you're running a successful life, but hold on.
Personal.
Yeah, hold on. So my point is, right, is like, I don't have any plans today. I'm going to jump on my bicycle and I'm going to ride. Something to do, exercise, feels good, right? Get out in the world, right? You're not sitting on a couch. You're not binging something on Netflix. Like, you decided to go entertain yourself by looking at the world in front of you on a bicycle instead of watching it through a television, right?
Motorcycle or your car, or,
Yeah.
you could get on
So then you're in on it and you're pedaling away and you got your headphones on, right? You're probably listening to tunes, whatever, maybe not.
I don't.
And you're cruising.
Yeah.
When do you determine to stop? You didn't answer that. You said it's dependent upon weather. I'm saying it's a gorgeous day. When do you decide to turn around?
I think obviously if you were to leave, you might, like tonight, the wife will be home about 5 or 6, so if I get off here with you and I end up on the motorcycle, okay, and I'm going to try to be back by 5, I don't know. But what says you have to? You never know I don't know. I used to do this when I was in the Army for a little while. I used to call them gas tank trips. It was really bad naming. I should have come up with a better term for it. But I used to go fill up the Ford Focus. I had a Ford Focus, I think it was a GT, and it was a little sporty little weird car, 5-speed. And I'd go fill it up with gas. And then I'd pick a direction and I would just go. And I would stay off the interstate. So it had to be, I had like a few rules, because obviously in life there's always a few rules. Come on. This isn't anarchy. You know what I mean? Like, so I would say, okay, no, I would be like, I have nothing to do for the next day or two. And so I would get in the car with a full tank of gas going, I'm going to go and I'm going to drive until I cannot go any farther and get gas and then come back. But if I also left it open because I didn't want to box myself in. If that other tank of gas might lead to another tank to keep going that way, the world will tell you. And sometimes we overthink it too much. Just relax. And so I would go on a trip and I would say, okay, at least for one tank, I'm going to keep going this way. And if you were in a 2-lane highway and it comes to a T, you got a left or a right. Look down. Let's go right. Because then the next time I have to make that decision, I'm going to go left. And then you find you find a little town in the middle of nowhere. You might cross into, another state. And you find yourself at a flea market, or you find yourself coming up on a beer festival and on a downtown in some little town you've never heard of, and then you get gas and go home. I don't know. It's just exploring. It's having it's the Fred Becky in me. Speaking of, write this down. Dirtbag, The Legend of Fred Becky. It's a documentary. He's on Tubi, Amazon Prime, Apple TV. Just, Google it, Dirtbag, The Legend of Fred Becky. And he was a mountaineering guy. He lived in his car, and I promise you will know real quick if this is your documentary, and you will watch it, and you will watch this man, and he's just the guy. And every once in a while, my buddy and I'll be like, let's do it for Fred, and we'll just get in the car, or we'll make very little plans and go skiing for the weekend and go like, who cares? We'll just figure it out. Let's do it. This is for Fred Becky. So it's a little thing between the friends and I. But it's a fun documentary. We'll put it up on the screen. We'll have production. Hey, Gary. He's over in the production office. Throw that up on the screen for us. Okay, it's coming up. And I'm trying to look like I have a crew. But he's got a cup. I'm not going to ruin it for you, but if you need a little pick-me-up, I think you need to watch Dirtbag, The Legend of Fred Becky.
I know I need to watch it. I have no idea what it's about, but I'm excited to watch it. I don't even know where to go right now with this, because this is why I need you in my life. I don't know. Understand this, bro. I don't have this in my life. Meaning I don't have hold on. I don't have someone like you in my life that challenges me the way you challenge me. Like, this is the craziest fucking conversation I've had in weeks, months.
You can do this alone with your wife.
You're right.
You and your daughter hanging out.
Yes.
What do you want to do this weekend? How about let's do nothing? Be like, what do you mean nothing? Well, we're going to get in the car. We're going to fill up the truck. We're going to pack minimal stuff, just a change of clothes and a good pair of shoes, because you never know. You might be horseback riding. You might be climbing a mountain. You might get into a hacky sack game in Boone, North Carolina, if you find yourself there. drinking beer, microbrews with a bunch of hippies playing hacky sack at 2 a.m, going, hey, how did we end up here? Well, we just let the universe decide and we went with the flow because sometimes we just need to let go for a while and relax. As firemen, we're so used to being a little tense, a little anxious. We got to have all the answers. We work in stressful situations. You got to decompress. You got to find the other side of that, which is get in the car. No plans. Let's go east. Let's go north. You're up in New York, New Jersey area. Go north. You might end up in Vermont somewhere and at a foliage festival, having a great time. You and your daughter having a burrito on the side of the street in some town you've never heard of. You might buy a handmade quilt from an old lady in northern Maine. How did we get here? Well, 2 tanks of gas. There's always a place to sleep. There's always a burrito or something to eat. You're going to be fine. Everything, you can always sleep in the car.
I can't even begin to tell you how much I'm enjoying this right now.
This is what I needed too. I needed to be reminded of the simplicity. We overcomplicate things too much. We're doing it at work right now.
I have been in the trenches the last 2 weeks in life. I have a lot happening. I have family stuff going on. Nothing like devastating, but there's family shit going on. There's work stuff going on. There's firehouse stuff going on. It's piling up on me. And then I sit here, I texted you yesterday, Monday, and said, yo, let's get together this week. I need therapy. And here I sit with you today, and I'm in awe again of this conversation because this is exactly what I fucking need in life. I need a gas tank trip. Like I need to roll that into my repertoire of like once a month, once every other month, whenever I can do it. And do it with different people. That's what I love too, is like, you're right. Don't take the whole family. Just take one kid. Take my wife. Take another kid.
How old your daughter?
My 2 that are home are 17 and 18.
Oh my God, this is prime time.
I know. That's what trust me.
You don't think they would love to have a day in the truck on a 2-lane road with no destination just to have time with their dad?
So in full transparency, I do this to an extent, but not to the extent you're talking about. I am a huge, my wife and I got away 2 weeks ago on a weekend, Saturday. We left Saturday morning, came back Sunday afternoon, picked out this cool boutique hotel, did some fucking thrifting. She hated it, but I love, I could go to antique shop after antique shop, sourcing out things that I want and love. My daughter Paige loves that. And so I want to take a day and just antique with her, go to the antique shops, grab a beer, walk around, grab lunch. I love that. And I do get to do that when I need it. I make that important. But what I love for you is you're putting a defined purpose to it. And that to me is what I want to do. I want to make sure that I want to make sure I do it. I don't want this to fall by the wayside because 10 more things came up and I value a work meeting or a podcast over hanging out with my kids or my wife.
Paige will never be 17 again.
I'm well aware. She's going to be 19 actually next
18, 19,
2 weeks.
Or your wife, you and the wife, you go get lost for a day or two. Or
it was awesome when we did it 2 weeks ago, and it was such a great night and a great day. And we stayed in this, oh man, I'm so grateful to talk about this now. We stayed in this boutique hotel in a little town in New York State on the Hudson River that I didn't know what was there. And I was like, fuck it, we'll go. We roll down and half the buildings are vacant downtown. They're starting to go through revitalization. The boutique hotel we stayed in was this old mill that was converted, 12, 14-foot ceilings, awesome. They have lights down the main street. There's only one restaurant, one this, one that. And the dinner was excellent. We walked in, had dinner. The next morning, instead of coffee at the hotel, we walked around the corner to the only cafe on the street, sat down and watched all these locals just do what they do every Sunday morning. And I was like, man, there's something so nice about this. I wasn't on my phone. My wife and I were laughing. I'm talking with strangers. Like, I do this, but I need you to point this out to me. Like,
You
thank
already
you.
did it. I'm
I
just
did. Yes. I just don't do it enough.
yeah. And it all ties into, it seems like the older we get, the more we have going on, right? And the more people depend on us, and you lose track of having fun. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
I think you're right.
The older we get, the less fun we seem to be having. And I don't understand that mentality. I guess I'm pushing against it, and I'm trying to remind people, hey man, just why don't you put the phone down and go do something? Like, hey, what makes you excited? And they're like, I don't know. Like, doesn't that bother you? Like, I don't know. You just see too many people who are getting in later in their careers. We've been on, first responders, there's a lot of stress. You got to find a way to kind of counteract that a little bit. We're away from our families a lot. Our kids don't see us much. We miss a lot of things. You gotta be very deliberate on spending time and doing things, and put the phone down. Good God. How much scrolling and, we're just wasting time.
I think we can find balance in it, right? It's not going anywhere. It's part
It's
of
all
life.
about
It's who
balance.
we are. I mean, it's a part of who we are.
It's a tool.
So value it and give it, set parameters around it, right? Like, and I think that's important. Man, I love this. I wanna explore something you just said. I wrote it down. You said the older we get, it seems like the less fun we have.
100%.
And then being a fire service podcast, I talk about that and I say, if we're not having fun, we're doing it wrong, right? I say that about the fire service, but also life, right? Like, we're not here long in the fire service on the career side, 20, 25, 30 years. Volunteer side, you might go 50, 60 years because you grew up there. That's your town. You volunteer, right? I get that. But man, I feel like we are losing sight of why this is the greatest thing ever. And I will fight for that. A lot of people push back on me on that. This job doesn't owe you. This job's going to take from you, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's given me a lot. It's given me this conversation today, right? So like, I value what the fire service has done for me, but I also know that there's been a lot of times in my fire service tenure where I have not enjoyed it. I have fallen out of love with it. I'm not having fun. And I only recently, I'd say within the last year, there was an issue that popped up and I had to have a conversation with myself that said, what am I doing? Like, why am I letting them win, right? Why am I letting them win? I should be doing this on my terms and getting what I need out of it too, right? I could be a little selfish that way. And it doesn't take from the mission. It doesn't take from what we do. It just makes me a better fireman, a better person if I could do it on my terms and have fun doing it. Right?
Those 20+ year guys, they're not having fun. Lost a little bit of the spark. You've been beat down, the staffing changes and new rules and SOGs and SOPs, and
sure,
you gotta wear your
new administration, check boxes, chores, duties, young versus old, all of it. It's all there.
Your body's hurts and you can't crawl through the maze like you used to, or thing. And so you slowly see that disgruntled fireman being built over the years, and then around year 20 they're just like big, and then it's kind of that bad apple in the basket that kind of ruins it for everyone around. And then you don't want to spend time with that guy because he's always negative. Like I'm not sure if I've told you, but I said I'm making a really big point to not complain. I catch myself every once in a while and I'm like, nope, knock it off. Because whoever's listening doesn't need to see me complaining. I shouldn't be complaining. Things change. Everything changes. Nothing is ever going to stay the same, right? And it's the way the world works. And they don't need to remember me in my last 36 months complaining. So I don't want to be that old. I want to be the guy that is encouraging you to go have some fun on your off days. Find the balance so that when you come back to work, you're in a better mood and you feel like being a good, helper. And we're here to serve the citizens,
Do you know that that's what National Fire Radio was built on 7 years ago? exactly that premise of protecting the stories of the senior man. I was watching too many guys leave pissed off and disgruntled, taking a 20-year career. The first 20 years was stellar. The last 5, they became the crusty, angry, bitter guy. And they took everything, all the value they brought went out the door the last 5 years. And they're known as the bitter, disgruntled guy. And they're not known for the first 20 years.
Yep.
And they take all of their inside stories and experiences with them.
And they don't come back and visit.
Right. And not only that, but they also take everything with them, and they're not leaving anything behind, which is a crime for this industry, because we need people to leave it behind. We need people to pass on the stories and the experience. Yeah, and when I watched all these guys leave pissed off and disgruntled, I'm like, I want to do something about that. If I can capture their stories now and then put them out in perpetuity where people can find their stories and say, no, that guy left his mark. Even though he was angry and disgruntled when he left, there's storytelling here. There's an experience. And if we can do that, and that was the whole intent with National Fire Radio.
Yeah. And it's still happening. We see it every day. Every department has it. Every department has that group of guys, or, we can rattle off name after name real quick of people who have left. It's sad. And I hope that doesn't happen to me. I get up every tour when I go to work. I'm like, okay.
But you're conscious of it.
I'm very conscious of I'm trying to be very conscious of what's coming.
But you haven't always been, right?
No, because I felt myself slowly going over to that side, and it's like, okay, I see how that happens. Because when you're younger, you go, well, he's just old, he's grumpy, they're unfit, they don't understand. When you're 22, you're like, you got the whole world ahead of you. Your knees don't hurt, your back's fine, your shoulders work, this shoulder clicks. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have gray hair yet. And so you don't really know why the old guy's complaining, but then after 20 years of staff and new rules and SOGs and all the shit, and just, life, and then the calls, and it just piles up, and then the rate tones go off. You're like, oh, and it wakes you up at 3 a.m, and you don't get to go back to bed. And then at noon, you're just a crabby asshole. It's because you've been doing this for 22 years. It gets a little old, but that's all they see, and they don't understand it. But then when they get to that point, they're like, oh, but now it's too late.
Yeah, you're long gone, right? They can't understand it until they get there themselves.
Conversation about it. Yeah. And now there's a 20-year-old kid looking at them going, what's your problem?
Does the CIV hold you more responsible? Like the creation of what you're doing, right? With conversation is ventilation, and, speaking to your own department's probie classes and starting to get yourself out there and speaking to other departments and making these connections. Is this a big push of why you're holding yourself more accountable now?
Probably. I think when I made the decision to roll it out to the department before any of all of this, and it was I think it was my way of saying I had a problem because I knew it was broken and there's a problem, and I was like, okay, I'm going to try to not make eye contact with it and just retire and leave, but then it just wasn't right, so I'm like, okay, I got to say something, and I did, and this is where we are. But it's held me accountable because people really want to have conversations. That's what I found out. Whether it's you, whether it's the guys at the station, whether it's a fireman I've never met before, we all have our stories. And it's funny how when you open the door just a little bit to have a conversation, people want to talk.
No doubt. No doubt.
Look at Little Rock. People want to talk. People come up to you, Jeremy Donch, how are you doing? Here's a t-shirt. I want to talk. They want to tell you stories. They want to talk.
A t-shirt.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
People 100%. Were doing it to me and they didn't even know me. They just saw me as your sidekick, and they're like, hey, and then people, after I spoke for a little bit, people they were coming up like, people want to have conversations. We all have stories.
I think the other thing too is we allow people to let their guard down to engage us because we engage them, right? Like I think in the firehouse, everybody's guard is up in a way. You're worried about having that conversation, or you're worried about speaking up about something. But when I stand in front of a room of, 100, a couple hundred, whatever, and I tell my story, there's this delivery where I don't pull any punches and tell people of my failures, and I tell people that I'm real. I think it resonates with people, and I think that is why that is why people will open themselves up to me. And that's why we have the conversations we do. And I know that's happening with you as well.
Mm-hmm. When you get up in front of people and say, I'm a giant idiot and I've made a ton of mistakes, here are a few of them, they listen and then they go, holy shit, this guy has no problem telling me where he failed or what he did wrong or what he wishes he could have done better if he could go back. And it lightens them up. It lightens the mood. It makes people go, he's real. I can tell him things.
But a lot of people are afraid to do that. They're afraid to open themselves up for criticism. They're afraid to be honest and open. And I know I was forever. Only until the last few years have I come to value that the only way you can make progress in life is when you're real with yourself. And there's still things that I have to work on. There's things that I'm not happy with about myself. There's plenty of things that need attention in my life. And I'm trying. And I just said this. I did another episode this morning with Sean Egan. And we started off the podcast talking about you. He's like, man, I really like those therapy sessions. And I go, fucking tell me about it. I do too. And we talked about it. And we talked about the impact that it's made for me and our friendship and how unique it is. And I love it. Right. But my point of, I just lost track of my point. But, the 1%. So I did an episode with Paul Conway, which actually released today on the podcast channel. And Paul Conway just said to me, he goes, listen, man, I've had my struggles, my ups and downs in my life too. He's retired special ops chief of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Right. And so prestigious job, busy department. And he's like, in a very proud business owner, Conway Shield, right? Like he's been making helmet shields forever and so on. And so recognizable name in the fire service. And he tells me on the podcast, he goes, listen, I've had my ups and downs too. He goes, all I can do today is 1% better today than yesterday. And I'm like, you know what? That is a great way to look at things. It's like, as long as you're not going backwards, if it could be as little as 1% every day. And I'm not trying to, what I hate is like, I hate the rah-rah shit because I'm a real guy. And it's like, but sometimes just something like that, 1% better every day, that has resonated with me since I discussed that with him. And I'm like, fuck yeah, man. 1%. That's all it takes. 1% means that I'm making progress somewhere, right? That's the win.
A few things jumped in my head. Number one, the conversations, like you said something about people don't want to they don't want to open up or whatever. They do though. I'm finding that they do. They want to do it privately. Because I've had many people in my short little career as a podcaster, as Schmo Rogan, right? Many people I have talked to that would not come on this podcast and talk, but they will talk for hours.
Yes.
Privately.
Yes.
And I found that if you push too hard and go, dude, you need to share this. And they're like, no, I don't. They'll say things like, I don't want to look stupid. I've had people say, I don't like the way my voice sounds. They'll find a reason or an excuse to not want to be on the show, but yet they have something that I wish I could share, but I can't. But then I take a step back and I realize, you know what? It doesn't have to be for the world. It doesn't have to be on the podcast. This is between him and I, or her and I. And if she or he goes back and has a conversation with somebody else, it's going to grow in its own way. Stop forcing it, Shimek. Not everything has to be about a podcast. Not everyone has to be a guest. Not everyone has to be vulnerable. A lot of people don't like even getting up in front of people. I don't understand that. I could get up in front of a stadium right now and go, hey, how's it going? I'm an idiot. And people are like, haha, chuckle, chuckle. Look at his fat head. I don't even need to be barely prepared.
I'm right there with you. Sure.
There's people that are afraid to get up and talk, in front of their guys at the station for fear of seeming weak or, I don't know. What are we talking about?
Well, I like what you said and I just wrote it down. Not everyone wants to be a guest. And I think that is,
but they want to be a part of it though. Is that what you're
Yes. Well, let me finish. Let me finish. Cause all you do is cut me off. So let me finish.
Hey, how's your mom with them?
So where I'm going with this, right, is like, and I took pause when you said that, and then I wrote it down because it resonates. It's like, yeah, you're right. Not everybody wants to be a guest. What people want is the intimacy of the conversation. And it's comfortable for you to speak in public. It's comfortable for me to speak in public, but I've been doing this a very long time now, and you've been doing it, but in your life, you're not afraid to engage people sitting at the bar or at a flea market or on a chairlift, right? Like you're not afraid to be that guy, and I'm not either. But so many people, I think, yes, they do want to talk. The art of conversation is hard for some people. And they also want that intimate setting that it gives them the reinforcement they need to know it's okay to talk. Like sometimes people need, like I think about I have 4 kids, 4 children, right? Not children anymore, they're all adults. But each one of them, as a dad, I have to engage each one a little bit differently to get conversation or to get feelings or to have a hard conversation or whatever, right? It's like you have to read the room. You have to know your children. You have to know how to speak with someone. And that's important. And I think a lot of people get uncomfortable putting themselves out there unless they feel safe and it's intimate that allows them to open up. And that's what therapy is. That's what I'm doing. This is my therapy. I title it therapy, but I just put it out to the masses.
Well,
but that's what therapy is for people. People go, the cliche thing, they sit on that long couch, they put their head back and they just go. I've never been to a single day of therapy in my life. I have no idea if that couch actually exists or not, right? But my point is it's a safe place where people don't feel judged. People don't feel that somebody's side-eyeing them saying like, oh, this guy. No, it's a true, authentic experience where they can get a return. People will have conversation. Are you willing to listen? Are you willing to listen? A lot of people are not.
No. And I was just thinking that conversation is with me is what started as like, I look at the new kids that graduate. Actually, they graduate recruit school tomorrow. So Friday, tomorrow, in our world, you have 8 young men starting their careers, and they need to be able to be in a room where people are willing to have conversations when they need to have them. It doesn't need to be all in their face all the time, and it's not a big feelings thing, but it's about just going, hey, when these things happen, we've been through that already. We've run that call. When it's your turn, we can talk. Or when we go on a call, we will support you and be there with you. We're in this together. When we pull up at a fire, your first fire and you're on the nozzle, you never forget it, but you got tunnel vision. The guys behind you, the guys and girls behind you are actually the ones that are keeping you safe from being stupid, because you're going to run off into a hole because you're so excited that you're there. But it's our job to just, pay it backwards and be there and have these conversations and make it okay and be part of the team. And, I know what you're going through, and that starts with me telling the story first, talking about my first suicide call. And then that okays them to open up if they want about that. It's a cycle, but it's usually done one-on-one, is like I'm saying. It's always private. It's very rarely done around more than 2 or 3 people. It's usually a crew. The biggest I've so far, not on the internet or on the podcast or anything, it's never been more than 4 or 5 people at the table in the bay. It's never been bigger than that. And I'm finding that I think that's because it's supposed to be like that.
Yeah. Intimate, right?
Intimate.
Yeah.
It's the blue shirts getting the blue shirts. It's there's no outsiders here. There's nothing to,
Do you find that, where's your therapy? In those gas tank trips?
My therapy is with the guys. My therapy is this, it's a 2-way street. Every time I talk to you, we laugh, we have some good time. We talk about some things, it's my therapy is the guys, people coming up to me, having stories, talking, I've found that it's helping me just as much as it's helping them. It's keeping this alive. And, so I feel like I'm always in therapy now. I feel like I've opened this door to where we're just always having a conversation about something.
Was, I think, for me, the biggest draw to you when I first saw your clips, and I was like, man, who's this guy? Because like I've said to you, and I think I say it to you every single episode we do together, and we've done a bunch now, and I think the beauty of what you do is just point out how easy it truly is to work and to be present for one another. And it can be a simple smile, smirk, a wink, or even a, hey, you want a cup of coffee? Like, it resonates with people to the point. And that's what I was going to say to you before is like, be present. Like, you know, you said it before, put your phone down. Yeah, the phone. We can vilify the phone. We can blame it for everything. But at the end of the day, right? Like, you're still making the decisions based upon who you want to be. And we are so focused on ourselves today that if we just took pause and picked our heads up instead of keeping them down, and we stop focusing on our own shit and we just start looking around, there are incredible things that can happen, and they can happen quickly for you. And you never know. You know, some of the most fun things I've heard are the stories where people have a chance encounter with somebody, and next thing you know, it's like it changes their life, right? A job opportunity, a kidney, you know, it literally could be anything, right? Like, but you wouldn't know if you kept your head down and focused on yourself, and you weren't the type that wanted to keep your head up and look around. You could miss out on so much opportunity, man.
Remember when the bus in Dumb and Dumber pulls up at the end and those girls hang there?
Oh my God, so good.
It's the prime example, right? If you go out and take the wife or the kid or just you, or you go out on a gas tank trip and you just, you know, and you just open up, and I don't remember where I was, but it's parallel because this happened to me. I ended up in this really small town, and there was this festival, and I was with a bunch of kids. It was my friend's cousins, and it was in rural Indiana somewhere. And I'll never forget it. It was a summer, and it was hot. Northern Indiana, Valparaiso, Indiana is where we were. And we ended up in some small town in the middle of nowhere.
Are you kidding me? I've been there.
Okay.
Valparaiso, Indiana.
Town, yeah. But we were like 50 miles outside of that town at some weird, like the cousins were like, hey, there's this thing going on. We ended up at a weird street festival in this small farming town, middle of nowhere. And I remember just having one of the best times. And, you know, we're 19, 20, everybody's having a few beers, where there's this big tent with line dance. It was just weird. It felt like I went into another dimension. And I was this young man having the time of my life, middle of nowhere. I probably could not have called for help because I had no idea where I was. And I still remember that story because I think when you just go with the flow and go, hey, let's go have a good time. This is going on. You know, look at me at 49, still talking about it.
Do you know how many people have never had an experience like that?
That's what bothers me. You should be having it all comes down to, you should be having a good time. Whatever that looks like for you, I hope you're having a good time. Because if all you do is go to work, regardless of what you do for a job, you better be having a good time. You're not getting any younger. Your knees and back aren't getting any stronger. You should be having a good time. What's a tank of gas?
What do you say to people that are so focused or in the I mean, listen, real talk, people are struggling in this world financially, emotionally, right? They're in a bad relationship. They are they're you know, living paycheck to paycheck, barely paying the bills. That's real conversation, especially in the fire service, right? In the career fire service. I mean, you know, not every parts of the country are paying fair wages, and people are making a good living that they could go take a gas tank trip because they can't afford an extra tank of gas. Like, that's real conversation.
But yet we're paying $89 for YouTube TV.
I'm not.
We have a lot of crap we don't need. You got to stop lying to yourself. You're not using the RV as much as you think. And when you do want to take that every 5-year RV trip, go rent one, number one. You're not using the boat very much. It's $80,000 to go bass fishing when a $2,000 boat off Craigslist, if that still exists, will float just like an $80,000 bass boat. You can fish, right? The kids don't care if it's an $80,000 boat or a $2,000 boat. They just want to go hang out on the lake and go fishing.
Craigslist?
Yeah. Is that like Diet Sundrop? You don't have that up there either, Craigslist?
No, I mean, we had Craigslist. I don't think it's a thing anymore. Facebook Marketplace? Yeah, Marketplace. Yeah.
We surround ourselves with a bunch of stuff that we rarely use. We barely can pay for it, make the payments. We're not maximizing our vacations. We're wasting our time with our kids. They're growing up fast. My granddaughter is turning 10. She FaceTimed me last night at work. She's 10 and said, in 5 years, girl, you're going to have your permit. She goes, Grandpa, no, I'm not. I said, yeah, you are. You're going to come pick me up.
I love that.
We're wasting our time paying for a bunch of crap we don't need. I do it. We all do it. Finding that balance, I don't know.
And I think too, like and what I am working towards in my own life right now is finding my purpose and gaining fulfillment. And I think those are two words that are very heavy to talk about. And I think most people don't have a purpose and most people feel unfulfilled. And I think happiness comes from a place of belonging. Happiness comes from a place of accomplishment, being able to look in the mirror and appreciate and like what you see, giving yourself the opportunity to know that it's okay to be faulted. It's okay to not have all the answers, but as long as you're working towards being better, the 1% every day, like that's some strong stuff. It's just for two guys like us to talk about this, it's ridiculous because if you told me 5 years ago, 10 years ago that I would be talking like this with another dude, I'd be like, you're out of your effing mind. Like that is not right. No, but think about it. You know how many guys would fight back and resist? I remember I put a post up. I did a social media post from one of our episodes, a clip, 90-second clip, 60-second clip. I put it up on social media and it says like sitting at the airport with your head up and engaging somebody. And I got comments like, who would want to talk to you? Or I wouldn't want a stranger looking at me at an airport. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? Like, you wouldn't want somebody that's sitting across from you, in the airport, the chairs are facing each other, right? At the gate. You wouldn't want somebody just to look up and at least smile and say hello. You don't have to talk to them. You don't have to know and learn about them. You don't need to be the overtalker, but you could acknowledge somebody's presence. People were like, why would you want that? Why would I don't want somebody talking to me. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong? Did you get dropped on your kid when you like on your head when you were a kid? Like, why? What's the fucking harm in that?
There's always going to be that group of people.
What the fuck? Like, why?
Those people they're not out having a good time. They're not having a good time. And that's fine.
I think you want my honest opinion? I think they do want somebody to say hello to them. I think it's this ego bravado bullshit that look at me on social media. I'm going to be funny with a quip. I'm going to push back and show everybody how manly I am. Get the fuck. I'm so tired of that. I'm so tired of it.
I saw somebody quoted something one time that said, if the only people that are talking shit are the ones that are, they're not doing better than you. They're, I don't want to say below you, but you know what I mean? Like no one from the top is going to talk shit to you.
No doubt.
It's only the people down below that are going to have some dumbass remark to say about it, and that's fine. And that's all part of it. And to me, it's funny. It's like, but those people are destined to be there has to be a certain group of people that are just not going to be happy. They have to be. I
get that, man. I'm not sunshine and rainbows and unicorns like the whole world kumbaya. That's not what I'm saying. There are fucking dumb people in this world. There are unhappy people in this world, and they're never going to make anything of themselves, and that's their fucking problem. And frankly, like I don't waste my time with it. I really don't. However, in the context of this conversation, I wanted to point that out because I'm like, why wouldn't you want somebody to acknowledge you exist? What the like?
Hey, how's it going?
Crazy.
No, it's fine.
Crazy.
And trust me, their wives are at home just as annoyed with them as you are. Their kids don't like them either. There's always it's the internet too. It's you're opening yourself up to basically it's a giant high school.
Every day, bro.
This is lunchtime in high school. You're going to be bullied. People always have something to say. And that's just, but they're listening. And to me, if you're going to comment, at least even negative shit, at least you're listening. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm willing to get up and dance for you if it gets a laugh. I don't know. Because a lot of people don't feel the way you do, but it's funny. I don't know.
I want more. I've come to realize through my own journey that I want more. And I want other people to recognize that they're allowed to have more. I said to my one daughter's going through some relationship stuff. She's young, but it's like first love type stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I'm like, don't forget, you're allowed to be happy. Like, you are in life allowed to be happy, and you are allowed to pursue what that's going to take to allow you to be happy. And that's okay. I don't know how many people even have thought of that or are willing to have that conversation with themselves.
I think it's easy to say, but I think a lot of people are afraid to follow through with that.
100%. I'm struggling with it. It's trying to find balance in all of that and trying to figure out what I need in my life. I recognize today I need more gas tank trips.
101. Put the phone down. Go for a drive.
Yeah.
Two lane highways.
I'm a long way home guy. Like, I take the long way home a lot of nights, I do.
You should be having fun. It all comes down to that. I say that all the time. I find myself saying that constantly. Are you having fun? You should be having a lot of fun. And if you're not, then what can you do about it? That's kind of my thing. It's like, then do something about it. If you're sitting here and, we're sitting at the station and they're just, somebody's just down and they're just, personal life stuff. You're like, okay, what can you do about it? You don't like I don't know, whatever. Life's too short. It's easy to say. I know. Trust me. It's easy to say, but at the end of the day, I do believe you should be having fun. You should be having a good time. You should be around people that are building you up and having a good time and willing to laugh with you, laugh at you even. I want people to laugh at me, make fun of me. Let's have a good time.
Where though for you, like you want to, is there an expense to you on that? Like you want to engage people and make people feel good about themselves, which then makes you a target to be the comedian, right? But like deep down inside, does that bother you?
I'm having a good time. It's kind of like I don't know who I was talking to. A couple of years ago, someone in the fire department became a closer friend to me than I realized, because I didn't realize we were going to be as good of friends because I never gave it a chance. And then through conversations and just jackassing around, we became kind of buddies. And I realized that if you go through life kind of having an idea that I know that person and I would never get along, or he or she has nothing to bring or add to my life, then you're missing out on the opportunity to have a great time. And like, you have no idea what what I'm trying to say? It's go back to high school in the cafeteria. You know how you sectioned off the stoners, the car heads, the geeks, the nerds, the popular kids. Well, what you didn't know is that 3 tables down was a stoner kid, who was into music and stuff, and he looked different. But you don't realize that in 4 years, you might be friends with that kid because you have a common interest, which is music. And one day he hands you a Minor Threat cassette tape that he dubbed for you, and you find Minor Threat, and you go, hey, dude, because this is a real story, real person, not going to say his name. And I ended up being friends with that guy through music. And now he's like, every week he hands you a cassette tape, because this is the early 90s, and you're finding Fugazi, Minor Threat, Acid Bath, all these new things you would never even, this is pre-internet. But yet, on paper, you don't look like you should be friends. And people go, why are you hanging out with him? Or why are you talking to him? What do you mean? He's pretty cool. You're just judging him because he looks like that. Or my point is just loosen up. You should be having a good time. If you're not having a good time right now, people, get off your ass and go find, if Frisbees makes you happy, go play Frisbee golf right now. You only need one. Go for a gas tank trip. You got nothing to do for the next day or two? Throw your kid in the car. Go for a trip. Leave your phones at home. I don't know. We're wasting time being unhappy and being miserable, trying to make the RV payment. And we're not even using the RV. Take the RV on a gas tank trip. Say, hey, we're going to put 3 tanks of gas in that and then turn around and come back. Where are we going? Couldn't tell you. Pick a direction.
Fugazi.
Put in Fugazi.
So good.
Ian MacKaye.
So good.
9 Inch Nails, Pretty Hate Machine. A girl handed me that cassette tape.
I was just talking about 9 Inch Nails the other day.
Changed my life. Like, where's Christy right now? I hope she's having a great life. I hope she's happy wherever she is. But we were two weird kids that shouldn't have been friends in 8th grade trading music.
If you think about that growing up, everybody was friends with a kid that they didn't admit they were friends with, but they were like the closest friend with them. You know what I mean?
We're having a good time.
Yeah.
You should be having a good time. You know, we overcomplicate things too much. Be a little vulnerable once in a while. Allow people to laugh at your insecurities. You know, I got a big ass head.
Do you?
I don't know. I think so.
The document you sent me yesterday, that's a hell of a profile picture you have on it.
That's I just did that as a filler.
That is, I mean, that's professional. Like you look like an actor.
I took that with my cell phone.
Really well done, sir. The sunlight was hitting you just right, like
well,
all 9 yards. I looked at it, I was like, fucking, I need an autograph from this guy. I sign this, put it on the wall, you know?
I'll send you one of my T-shirts.
Would you please? Yeah. When you get them, send one over. I'll put it in bin number 12 up in the attic.
I'm going to put Jeremy Donch's address after this episode. Everyone send him a T-shirt. It doesn't even have to be a fire department T-shirt. Just send him a shirt.
My goal, no joke, my goal is when, you know, we're large enough to have our headquarters, every hallway will be lined with T-shirts. That's the idea. These are 16-inch squares on center of like 1/8-inch MDF. And I had my buddy put them on their laser cutter, cuts them to, you know, a sheet of 4x8 sheet, 16 inches, you know, boxed. I put a T-shirt around it, staple it to the back. It's done. It's cool. Like, I think it looks pretty cool, you know? So
it's memory. It's a memory wall.
It is a memory wall. And I think at the end of the day, I mentioned like finding purpose and fulfillment. And I've come to really start to recognize that's what this is for me. This therapy, it's more than therapy. This is something that I think I've been seeking out for a long time. And this is why I love the podcast, and what I get to do talking to people has really become a passion of mine, which gives me purpose. And then that purpose allows me to have fulfillment. And that, I think, is what fuels me to be the best that I can be today.
You're very well spoken. I wish I spoke as well as you. You have your thoughts very well defined.
Well, this is part of, and this is what I want people to understand, is like, I don't have that in my headspace coming into this conversation. I speak from listening to our conversation. And this is the one thing that, like, people that know me have such a hard time to understand how much I listen today versus speak. I talk a lot, but I listen more. And like, I sit here, and as you're talking, all these things swirl in my brain around, like, you know, real life scenarios and what's happening in my life and what you're talking about. And I love to relate things. And a lot of things in my life gets related back to the firehouse, like most guys. Most guys that are firemen, they take everything, whether it's a leisurely drive down Main Street in their town, they're looking at every building and going, if that building was on fire, if this car was flipped over, if this gas line ruptured in an alleyway here, like all that stuff. We do that. We do that disaster planning in our head. We sit at a restaurant, we're always facing the door looking out, right? Like all that shit. We all do that, right? Why aren't we doing that in life? And that's what I'm doing when I listen to you on this podcast. And we're sitting here. I form my opinions and thoughts based upon my experiences and the conversation we're having. And I put it together. And like, yeah, man, like, this is why I need to do this with you every couple of weeks, because it kind of grounds me. I love it.
We need to be reminded. Maybe that's my job, is to help remind people. And it reminds me, because it makes me want to, you know, go do stuff and continue forward. And I don't know. It's very easy to lose sight and to waste time and to kind of slip into that old man, grumpy, routine guy. And
it goes faster than you know.
And those guys are not having fun. They're not. And I will do everything I can to avoid being that guy. I want to be that 80-year-old guy. I want you to bump into me when I'm 80 and going, that's Shimek. He's still having a good time. No matter what that looks like, he's still having a good time. He's got a dumbass grin on his face. He's having a good time, and he's always seems to have a sandwich in his hand. He's a good guy, you know, and that's what I want people to remember me by.
I think there's a lot there, and I also want to say this is like today's the day. Like this groundwork didn't have to be laid 20 years ago to be who you want to be today. I mean, you could literally change today if you want, but the problem is if you're not willing to do that when you wake up and realize it's time for a change. I hope it's not too late.
Some people won't ever get to it, and they'll find out at the last minute. Go, yep.
Right. All right, this got heavy and weird. Let's move on. You brought up sandwiches. Let's talk.
Sandwiches.
You said sandwich in hand, so I'm guessing you're a sandwich guy.
I love sandwiches because I can get away with not using any utensils or dishes. If you put a piece of napkin down, you can make the sandwich on it and then wrap it in it and then put it in your pocket or move on. It's a mobile meal, and you can eat it, and then you can wipe your hands on your pants and then throw the napkin away, and there's no dishes. And there's a lot of options for sandwiches. You can pretty much put anything in between two pieces of bread.
What's your go-to?
Peanut butter jelly and Cheez-Its.
I'm sorry. Cheez-Its on the sandwich?
Yes.
PB&J with Cheez-Its.
Yes. I'm going to call that the Shimek.
What are
Okay.
Hold on. I'm letting that process for a minute, dude. So just bear with me.
I want all 3 subscribers of mine, sorry, to get off and make a peanut butter and jelly. You got to have a good portion of peanut butter and jelly. The ratio is, and then on one side, either side, because they're both sticky, you put down a good layer of Cheez-Its. And I swear to you, you would be like, hey, it's like having chips that I don't have to use my hands to eat. They're already in the sandwich.
I get chips on a sandwich. Totally.
Cheez-It.
Right? On a PB&J with Cheez-Its is a little out there. I'm not going to lie.
The guy that commented that he wouldn't want to talk to anybody in the airport is probably not going to like the PB&J Cheez-Its, the Shimek.
He is freaking out in his armchair, in his recliner right now, freaking out. Freaking out.
But we lost him a long time ago, so I'm not worried about it. PB&J and Cheez-Its.
On what kind of bread?
My favorite is rye, but I will take
peanut butter and jelly. You go rye.
I like rye for everything when there's bread, just because I like the rye, like a grilled cheese with rye. Yeah,
I agree. So there's value there. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just for peanut butter and jelly. It's a little different.
Little extra zing. If you don't like that, just go for the plain white, or whatever you're.
Are you a toasted bread guy?
Not with my sandwiches. That's an extra step I ain't got time for.
But do you so convenience and time trumps quality and deliciousness?
Not deliciousness, because I disagree that PB&J, the Shimek is a very delicious sandwich.
Yes, but could it be better if it was on toast?
Yeah, if you got like a kitchen, you're all rich and you have
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, you could.
But when you're sitting on the tailgate of your minivan at a ski resort and you're making a sandwich, you don't have a toaster.
That's a little bit different. I'm not talking about
you're on the go
remote sandwich building. I'm talking about sandwiches in general. Like on a Saturday afternoon, you're home, you're putzing around the house, and you're like, I'm going to make a Sammy. Let's go. Let's make a Sammy.
No toasted. No.
Not toasted.
I don't have time for that.
Do you even own a toaster?
Yeah, the wife does. It's in the house.
Wife. It's her toaster.
Well, I'm not going to use it. It takes, what is that, 4 minutes? I ain't got time for this. I want to eat.
Amazing. A guy that flip-flops through the world doesn't have time to toast bread. This is amazing.
It's a waste of time. You're just going to, no. It's
all right. What can we do? Jesus. All right. So can we get away from peanut butter and jelly for a minute? Because well, I did only because I didn't see that coming. Like I just didn't see the Cheez-Its coming. So I don't want to lose our listeners to this, but I'm a sandwich guy myself. I enjoy sandwiches, no doubt. So, but I'm not like, I won't go to a peanut butter and jelly unless it's like a last resort thing. Like, but I think that's where maybe my bouginess comes in compared to your simplicity. And I'm like, if I'm going to make a sandwich, we're making a sandwich, right? and you're like, fuck it, just slap it on bread and eat it, right?
I'm not saying I wouldn't eat one of your sandwiches. I'm just saying
You would devour one of my sandwiches.
absolutely. I just would not put in the time and effort
Yeah.
if I was left alone to my own devices.
See, I would. That to me is an interesting. That's where I'm trying to go with this.
You're kind of a guy that likes to sleep in the hotel. I'm kind of the guy that is going to sleep in the parking lot of my car at the hotel. We're a little different.
I can be both guys, but I do prefer fresh, clean linens. And if it was up to me, just for the record, if I hit that 900 million the other night, the Mega Millions, I would have a crisp white T-shirt every day, brand new, worn once, thrown out. Like I would wear a new T-shirt every day, and I would have fresh linens on my bed every single night. That my bed is tightly tucked in and crisp with the most delectable thread-counted sheets ever.
And
that does not appeal to you at all.
My wife would love that. If it wasn't for my wife, I probably wouldn't wash my sheets as much as they should. So I can thank her for.
What are you, back in bicycle school, for God's sakes?
Well, I'm kind of a bum. So I mean, the house smells great because of her. It's clean because of her. I mean, but I think if I won $900 million, the only thing different in my life besides having a beard would be I'd be on a first name basis with Delta. You know, if I called up, said, "Hey, Donch and I want to go skiing. You know, Mr. Shimek, how are you today? What can we do for you?" They'd recognize the number when it popped up, is what I'm saying. So I would just be on the move.
Would they answer it? Because when you call me, I just put it to voicemail. So would they answer?
I'm sure there's a certain number that certain people get that when they call, they get answered immediately. They don't have to
Did
wait.
you see that new delivery service? When you get to the airport, they have a car pick you up and drive you out onto the tarmac and deliver you right to the plane. Did you see that service they're offering now?
No.
Wow.
But I would be that guy.
That is way out of your league, though, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
But if we were sitting around having a beer and said, "Do you want to go here right now?" I would make a phone call and they would answer immediately.
And I would very much do that as well. And I would take 10 friends with me. You know what I'm saying?
So that's where my money would go. And
yeah, me too.
So
me too.
I'd get on the plane with a sack of, rye bread and some peanut butter jelly and a box of Cheez-Its from Costco. It's 2 bags in one.
That's where
we're good.
That's where this thing goes south. Like, you don't have to do that. You can.
Yeah, makes me happy.
I get it. Keeps you grounded.
Keeps me grounded. I like to remember where I came from.
I get it. What's next for you? Anything?
It's snowing in North Carolina right now.
We had snow here yesterday as well.
Yeah, I'm getting excited.
You're in North Carolina. I'm
going to sneak over to Sugar pretty soon.
What's that?
Sugar Mountain. It's a little.
What's that, like the landfill that you ski on?
It's not bad, actually. It's probably it's near Boone, North Carolina. It's
okay.
It's legit-ish.
So it's in Western North Carolina. Western North Carolina where the mountains are, right?
Yeah.
What mountain? What is that? The Blue Ridge Mountains, I think.
Yeah, the Appalachians run up, up to you guys, and So
I'll tell you, we were in Asheville. I've been to Asheville a couple times, but we took that Blue Ridge Highway or whatever it was. Stunningly beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a gorgeous ride, for sure. So how far are you from there?
5 hours.
Really?
Yeah. So, if I'm bored, got nothing to do, tank of gas. See, there you go. You go throw your snowboard in the car, you tell the wife, give the wife a kiss. I'll be back in, 15 hours. 5 hours to get there, 5 hours on the mountain, 5 hours back. Make a sandwich. Have a good time.
I love that. Shimek, thanks, buddy. I needed today. I appreciate you.
I needed a laugh, too. The holidays are coming, and I don't like the holidays, so
Are we going to dive into that one the next go-around?
Yeah, I hate the holidays. I don't want to get started on it, but it's just people get financially strapped for dumb reasons, and then we just get we overextend ourselves buying people things that they don't want for people that we think like us, and most people don't even call, let alone deserve a present, and we get stressed out. And
bro, I could go down so many roads on that conversation. We gotta come back and do a holiday episode. That'd be fantastic. We can I'll put a Christmas hat on, put some lights up. put some lights up in the studio, and then we'll just talk about how shitty the holidays are. How's that? It's perfect. You wear the Grinch. I'll be Saint Nick, and I love the holidays. So yeah.
Hey, before we go, your hair's looking good. So I like
it's definitely on point today. I need a haircut though.
We're looking
but it is pretty tight today. I'm not gonna lie. I'm having a good day.
Yeah. So looking good, buddy.
Conversation is ventilation. The Shimek, bro. I appreciate you more than you know.
Appreciate you.
Thanks for a great day, man. I enjoyed the conversation. And to anyone that lasted throughout this ridiculous episode, I'd love to get your feedback, right? So I don't often say that on the podcast, but if you've made it this long and you're hanging on, I've had the Shimek on with me now several times. I've gotten a lot of feedback over the last few months about our episodes, and people tend to reach out more about these than other Firematic themed, only because this is so different. And, and I value that. And I think a lot of people recognize the importance of just conversations like this. And that is exactly who you are and what you're doing. Conversation is Ventilation is a podcast, but your social media, but it's also who you are. It's engaging people through simple conversation, which frankly does us all better. And I thank you, pal. Thanks for it. And people that are listening, send us your thoughts. Send us a DM. Email me at jeremydonch@nationalfireradio.com. Send Shimek an email. Send us messages, direct messages on Instagram or wherever you are. We'd love to hear from you. I want some feedback on these episodes because I want to know if this is trending in the direction that we should continually go down. We're going to anyway for our own selfish needs, but I want to bring value. And I think that these episodes bring tremendous value. And I just want reinforcement to know that we're on the right track. So, anyway, final thoughts from you? Bah humbug.
No, everything is everything has a positive vibe, even the negatives. We're just having a good time. I hope, we encourage people to have a good time. I hope we encourage people to, just maybe be uncomfortable every once in a while with some conversations or just get some things off your chest, have a good time. Maybe realize you need to spend a little time with your wife or your kids or go on a road trip or dust off the skis or, life is short, and I hope you're having fun. You should be. I'm here to remind you on a daily basis. And, if I can tell some jokes and have some good time with my friend Jeremy here, we're going to do it.
Thanks, dude. Appreciate you. Sign off. Guys, thank you. Thank you so much for hanging in and joining us for another episode of the National Fire Radio Podcast. Check out Conversation is Ventilation, the CIV podcast with the Shimek. His first name is Chris, but nobody knows that. It's just the Shimek. It's the Shimek at gmail.com, correct?
Yeah, that's or conversationsventilation@gmail is
perfect.
The business email.
Awesome. Well, thank you, bro. I appreciate you. And to everyone listening, thank you. Thank you for, enjoying the conversation. We appreciate you more than you know. And like I say at the end of every single episode, take this conversation, take it back to the firehouse and talk about it. Because in the words of Chris Shimek, as we talk about the job, we're making the job better. Take care of one another. We'll see you at the next one. Have a conversation today and engage someone. It's worth it. We'll see you at the next one. Jeremy, National Fire Radio.
National Fire Radio.